Let me give you a number on Anthony Davis. He is 211 and 240 since making his NBA debut in 2012. You see the winning percentage there. That's what it adds up to. He's under 500. It is actually, that winning percentage, 106th out of 139 players who've played enough games in that time. So he's been on bad teams historically, wants a chance to go to a good one. And with that, we can officially say good morning from the table here on Get Up. Greeny and Laura is here. Jalen Rose and Richard Jefferson could not have picked a better day to have the two of you guys here. And Dan Orlovsky will be along with Super Bowl coverage as well. But Jalen, you said this to me September 27th on this show here on Get Up. You said Anthony Davis is going to ask for a trade. He's exercising what you call pre-agency. So where does it go from here?
Well, this era for me, I have to say this LeBron James-led era where players are exchanging jerseys, and I'm hearing a top-flight player saying he wants to go play for a contender when it used to be your best player made you a contender.
Yeah, he was below 500. You see his record.
How about that? And so now that the Golden State Warriors have created a dynasty, when you add KD to go with a 73-win team, it becomes an arms race for everybody in the league to try to see who can get all NBA players on their squad. And so for AD, I'm not surprised when you watch a team, unfortunately, lose Boogie. He did get injured. He was playing at an elite level. New Orleans will not and is not a contending team. He has a year and a half, so this timing is good. He dropped this news at 8 a.m. on a Monday on purpose. He for the first time in a few years, he's not starting in the All-Star game.
Not happy.
So his situation has now changed, and now he's injured. It's time to exercise his right.
Super quickly, when you say they dropped the news at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday on purpose, what do you mean by that? What does he get from that?
It's the opposite of a dump call when somebody calls you after business hours on a Friday.
Right.
It means we're open for business.
They want this out there, and they want everyone talking about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think it's interesting, too, and we'll get to potential destinations for him if this happens in a second, but he's under contract, Davis is, next season. Do you think, Richard, that gives him more or less leverage when he's negotiating for this and choosing his own destination where he wants to go?
Well, I think it gives him the most leverage, right? Because there is time, and you don't want to feel like you're under the gun. You don't want to feel like you have to make a decision right now. We have 2 weeks. We got to get off him by the trade deadline. He has time, and New Orleans has time. So he's not doing them any favors, but if there was one thing that was a little bit considerate is that he's giving them a lot of time and a lot of heads up. That's what I think is the best thing that could probably happen to New Orleans.
One of the things that Woj touched on briefly, and it's sort of a complicated circumstance, is that because of the acquisition of Kyrie Irving, the Celtics cannot trade for Anthony Davis during this season. And Jalen, you've been saying for a while, of all the teams in the NBA, they have the most to offer New Orleans. And so that, I think, complicates the circumstance. It behooves, I think, the Pelicans not to move him right now if Boston can't be a part of it. Woj touched on that briefly. That's the explanation for why that circumstance is.
That's why you drop the news now, because now you put pressure on everybody involved.
Yeah.
In particular, the Los Angeles Lakers. If you guys really want me, y'all got between now and the trade deadline to make it happen. Y'all could have done that with Paul George.
Yeah.
It did not happen. He ended up in OKC. Now he's starting in Anthony Davis' spot in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and I really feel that Boston, Anthony Davis can say where he wants to go. If he doesn't want to go to Boston, he could just hey, look, guys, I'm not going to say it publicly, but I want to go to Los Angeles, right? I won't say it publicly so you guys can get as much in return as possible. And all of the young assets or draft picks, the only person he's going there is to play with Bron, and then whatever they can kind of build around them. That's what he's trying to do.
So who is it then? Give me the deal. Right now, you're at New Orleans and Magic Johnson.
I say,
who do you want?
I want them all. I want Kuzma, number one. Kuzma's number one on my list. I want Ingram. I want Ball, and I want a pick. I want it all. I want it all because understand this. Boston does have more. So if you let me wait till past the All-Star break and Boston can now get in this, they can do what they're doing with Kawhi. They can do what they're doing with Paul George and just do a one-year recruitment of them with all of those players in Boston.
And what makes this unique, unlike Paul George and Kawhi, I don't think you could get fair value for Anthony Davis unless you're getting an all-NBA player in return, or you're getting multiple young assets.
And Boston has better assets. Tatum, Jalen Brown, they are better assets than what the Lakers have.
And 1 million picks. The Celtics have 1 million draft picks as well. So if you're the Lakers, you got to do it now. Are you doing it? If you're Magic, are you giving them Kuzma, Ingram, and Ball?
I'm doing it because I want to wake up one morning and look at my roster and watch my team practice and say, there's LeBron, there's AD. We'll figure it out after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we could put LeBron.
That's the best place to be.
LeBron, AD, Richard Jefferson at your age, Jalen Rose at your age, and Laura.
They're gonna win.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. Mark
You
into
will
the three.
make the playoffs in the West. You'll make the playoffs.
Oh, we'd have home court advantage in the East.
Yes,
Easy.
yes.
Easy. That's not even a that's not even a
Also,
question.
roast for Damas on that one because you called
Thank
it a
you.
while ago.
Appreciate it.
Jalen had that with us on September 27th. He said, watch for Anthony Davis to make a move to try and get to the Lakers. Now,